gavelling assistant. Thank you for your attendance and to the guys in the public there. We will open this meeting and first receive apologies for absence.
Yes, I've had apologies from Councillor Fuller, Councillor Hutton and Councillor Baker.
Okay, are you all happy to accept those apologies? There you go. Second point is on declarations of interests. You've all seen the agenda. Have any of you got anything to declare on that one? Was it interest? No. Okay then, we'll have that one then. And that covers the issue about gifts, hospitality and inappropriate gifts. Anybody want to declare anything?
No. I'd love to say yes once.
Well, if you don't declare it and it happened, you go behind bars and we have a jail in the court.
I'm really
Right then, the minutes of the previous meeting, I hope we all had a chance to look at them. Any issue?
There was just a couple of typos that I picked up,
Okay,
but I've
you've
changed,
corrected,
so
right.
this copy is different.
None of us will pick those up. Right, we're all happy to accept those minutes then? Right, okay, sign those.
You've got
Proposer and a seconder, and all those in favour? Look, we're here. Bear with me a minute once it's on these. Right, okay then. So public participation.
So I've got one more set of minutes.
Oh,
for
sorry.
the extraordinary meeting.
Oh, right. Going too fast here. Right. So we've got the minutes of the meeting on the date, 2nd of July. Anybody got any problems with the minutes that you've got here? No? We've got a proposer for those then? We've proposed there from Councillor Clark and seconded from Councillor Pleal. All those in favour? I'll put my hand down on that one. Right, now we'll on to the public participation. Yes, please.
What we're going to speak.
Yes, it's
I feel slightly daunted by this ceremony. I'd like to start by thanking you very much for giving me this time. Looking at your agenda, I can see that time is precious. So thank you very much for giving me that time. I'd like to thank the council as well for their past support of the Twinning Association, which goes back a very long time indeed. I think it was first started in 1993 when the Mayor of Oundle and the Mayor of Narwhal exchanged a sort of deed of covenant between the two towns. So it goes back a long time. And so when I thank you for your support, I'm thanking you for stuff that goes back an awful long way. Thank you. I have to say that this official support has really added something to the exchange. I don't want to use the word gravitas because I think that might be misunderstood, but there's no doubt about it that the fact that this is an official exchange with members of the council supporting at both ends has added something more to us just being a bunch of friends who've arranged to meet each other over a large number of years. It becomes more than just this personal friendship thing, but it, in my view, and I hope in your view, becomes a sort of reaching out of two communities in an official capacity, reaching out and offering each other the hand of friendship and understanding and that sort of thing. It was good to hear. I don't know if you were watching the news today, but it was good to hear that Ursula von der Leyen, who is prospective head of the EU Commission, she said a great number of things, but the thing that I latched onto was that it doesn't matter what happens to Brexit, she has reaffirmed the friendship between the EU and Great Britain. That friendship is going to continue at that level, whatever the political outcome will be, is something that is very precious, I'm sure, to us all. At a more personal level, these friendships have gone back, as I say, a large number of years. You know, we attend when there are funerals, we attend when there are marriages, we attend when we celebrate the birth of a new child, we attend as well. So it's a deep friendship. You, as a council, will of course want to know what your money has been spent on and why you should go on spending it. I have to be frank with you, some of it is spent on hospitality. It's supported very generously on the German side, and I think a lot of that money goes to providing a coach for the German party, which we then all use when we go on our visits. Last year we took them all off to Warwick Castle, where they were reenacting the War of the Roses, which we felt was a sufficiently neutral political thing for us to be able to take them to, and it was much enjoyed. But this has also been spent on stuff that I would describe as more of a municipal kind of thing. So 2 years ago, there is actually a park in Narwhal called the Oundle Park, and it's a very attractive park. And so there's our name emblazoned, and we planted a flowering cherry tree there 2 years ago. My nightmare was that when I went back to Germany this year that I would find the cherry tree withered and dead, because we had had a very harsh winter and a very dry summer. But no, there it was, and it was flourishing, and it had a very nice plaque which had been made for us by Annie Welton, lovely painting on a slate design, and so there it is. This year when we went, I was concerned, you know, you give these municipal presents, don't you, when you meet, and there's only so many pictures of Oundle that you can give the mayor of Narwhal. And I wanted to do something that would perhaps bring us more in touch with young people. So we decided to take some presents for the junior school in Narwhal, and we spent some of the money that you were kind enough to give us on books and games, which then had the Oundle plaque in it. So I'm hoping that some of the kids who will be learning English will be looking at those things and will be aware that there is a place called Oundle, and it's sufficiently attractive for them maybe to come and visit it at some time. So I think that's really all I would like to say. I'm very aware of how much is on your agenda, but I would be very happy to take questions if you have questions.
Okay, well, thanks for the update. We did have a discussion about this, was it our last meeting or the
last
finance
one before,
meeting?
yeah, finance meeting.
Yeah, the finance meeting. Yeah, so it's not on the agenda for tonight, but maybe we could use it as an agenda item on our next opportunity. And I say next opportunity, knowing that the summer is coming up, and I'm not sure when that might be.
It'll probably be the finance meeting in September, will be the first meeting.
Okay, so unfortunately it will be that we can make decisions out.
That's fine. Would you want me to attend that?
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Sorry.
Yes.
I just want to say, former Councillor Elliott was the driving force behind this view to him, and we had always one wonderful tour to Anglesey,
Yes.
and of course they are entwined with other towns, so we got, I think, one in the Netherlands and all sorts of places. It's, well, zoo good.
It's great. It really is. It's
That's
great.
very good.
It's richtig.
I had to actually welcome the Germans in Germany.
Sorry.
I had to actually welcome the Germans.
Oh, did you
in
really?
Germany.
Oh, well done.
Well, I did my best.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great thing that's happening. So
Yes,
thank
it
you.
is.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, so going on with the members of the public then, that's it for that. Consideration of requests from interested parties. Okay. The next one is the Mayor's report. Emma's kind of circulated basically all the say. It's been a bit of a busy month. It started off with the BBC after they came to see the hub and what we were doing there on the Three Waters and so on. They did a little bit of an interview on transition towns, which is an opportunity to say what we were doing there. Food festival I went to was absolutely excellent. It was Oundle at its best again. Yeah, which it brings up another issue that is, I know on some of the correspondence, and that is over the Italian market and the French market, and not for tonight, but at some time, I think we should review whether we carry on with those franchises in the town, because personally I don't think they represent the quality of our town. Fletton Field, we've had the MCC's response to Fletton Field, and I've been doing a little bit of follow-up on that one. I think I was a little bit saddened to realise there was not a document similar to Victoria Hall behind the Fletton Field ownership. So Victoria Hall was very clear that we could sell the hall, but we must use the money to do something in Oundle. And I was hoping to find something similar as a statement for Fletton Field. You know, what I have found is that Fletton Field was bought by the town for the poor, and through a link of events it ended up as part of the hospital, and when the hospital got handed over to NCC, the field went with it. Now, you know, I've not personally given up on that thought process at the moment, but you know, as I see it, you know, the field was bought for Oundle by people of Oundle, you know, and therefore it's questionable about when it was handed over to NCC, whether that was actually correct. The other bits where they'd looked at the field was about whether the covenant that existed on the time was defendable, that it should not be used for buildings, but they've had sufficient legal representation on that one to say it would be extremely difficult to follow up. So we've had the document, and I know it's coming up later on in the agenda. The Oundle Parishes meeting, Emma's reported on that one, what was said there. The North Bridge timing issue was discussed, and you know, at that point we'd only slipped 2 months in the timing. We've now slipped 3 months in the timing. Sean was arguing that it's very hard with listed buildings to define how long anything's going to take. My argument with her was it's harder still if you haven't got a project plan. They have no project plan for it, and that's why the slippage. So the good news is that we have a follow-up meeting now set for the cabinet the cabinet member of MCC for highways. New chap has replaced Ian Morris, and that's on the 7th of August, where we can talk to him about project management. Neighbourhood plan, we've got that later on in the agenda. We had the meeting with the ENC. We say it was informative, but extremely disappointing, but I'll leave that for Peter later on. JAG meeting was about the police and the policing of the area. Interesting discussion about how the meeting was conducted and the fact it hasn't got a remit at all, although it's a mandatory body. It was part of its problem. But that's to the side. The police are declaring that they can only look after one strategic initiative in each area, and you know, it was a sad statement in itself, but you know, it was decided for this area it would be cars and speeding, and specifically I put in the concerns that previously had been raised about West Street at night. Northbridge, we had information on the 9th of July that there was buses on the bridge. What it turned out after all the lot of to-in and fro-in was that the bollard had been removed so the farmer could get to his field, and a bus and a truck had gone over the bridge, realised they couldn't get off it, and then caused mayhem trying to reverse back through the gap that they went through. Horticultural Society had their summer show. I've never been to it before, and I was really impressed. Another great event in Oundle. You know, more than flowers. You know, what they were doing there in terms of handicrafts, baking, and so on was ever so well done, and well worth looking at in the future. And then yesterday I was down at Northampton, BBC Northampton Radio. They were going through talking to all the mayors in Northamptonshire. They'd even managed to find a mayor in Northampton, USA, and interviewed him just to make it up. But really making the point about the various groups and societies that we've got going on in Oundle and what they do for the town. Mayor's report finished. District, sorry. Okay. District Councillor's report. Rupert's here with us. Good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On 24th of June, I represented East Northamptonshire at the Sparse Group's meeting in London. Three main matters: central government financing as a whole. The autumn statement in the autumn will not be for the recently customary 4 years ahead. Instead, a budget for 2020-21 only. Main reason: Treasury need to hold back a reserve to cope with impending Brexit. We were fully informed of and discussed a very recent House of Lords Select Committee report titled "A Time for a Strategy for a Rural Economy." The House of Lords Select Committee had taken full account of Sparse Group evidence, which recommended a number of very resonant measures. When the report is debated in the Lords, the Minister will be replying for the government, so we watch the space. My gut feeling is it'll be a long series of toing and froing, which will probably end up with a series of individual measures which, added together, could be fairly described as a strategy. But nothing's going to happen in a hurry, I'm certain of that. If only because we won't know until the end of the month who our new Prime Minister and Chancellor are going to be. We received an impressive presentation by a very able Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy economist on the government's white paper on industrial strategy. This includes closer working with the local enterprise partnerships. This should help ENC and other councils who will transform into Northern Hemisphere unitary towards ensuring that housing expansion in the Oxford-Cambridge arc is accompanied by the necessary additional infrastructure. My impression was that the government and the Department for Business mean business. By happy coincidence, on 26th of June, we in East Northamptonshire Council agreed to join the Central Area Growth Board, which includes all the principal councils in the Oxford-Cambridge arc, now including all those who will transform into North Northamptonshire unitary and our local enterprise partnership. The name of the game is joined up planning of houses, jobs and infrastructure. Nothing else to report.
Okay, well, thank you. You've got a very topical subject there, housing and infrastructure. Thank you, Rupert. Okay, next item then, Town Matters, to receive an update on the recently submitted bid for funding for the High Street Conservation Area. Clive, I hope you've got something on this one.
Well, unfortunately I haven't. I presume, hearing nothing else from Jerry, that it's gone.
Yes, I sent it on Friday morning. I had an automatic response to say they'd received it.
Brilliant.
But then I was supposed to get an identification number that we then use whenever we need to correspond, but it hasn't gone through. So I called them yesterday, and they're looking into it, but I haven't heard anything yet.
Do you know how long it'll take before we hear?
No,
anything?
that's what I was trying to find out. But
we as a committee, and I don't know that either,
No.
so I can't report back on that. I mean, the only one thing I will say, it was amazing to have every group that was involved in it pull together that quickly, that much information, get it down, get it off. If it's successful, it will be fantastic. But, and even if it's not, I think the most important thing that's come out of it is actually with the right angle of attack and the positive attitude that's come out of it, everything is possible.
Well, having seen the quality of the document and knowing where we were sort of 6 weeks ago, you know, ourselves in this chamber thinking it was just not possible to put anything together in that time frame, it's most impressive what you guys have done. So, you're really pleased on that one.
As I say, just fingers crossed now.
Yeah.
But even if it's, I don't think it will never be a failure.
No.
The fact that it happened
Yeah.
is enough
Yeah.
in some respects to actually
No, it's very impressive.
kickstart something else.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. To receive an update on Fletton Field, is that the document we had
Yeah,
from
well,
the CC?
that, yeah, basically the document that we had, plus the little bit of correspondence that you had with,
Yep.
the group. So,
So I trust you've all seen the document. It is quite wordy and it I can't think of the polite word for the way it's written, but I can't, so I'll leave that bit alone. You know, it's an extremely disappointing analysis of the situation, and all you can see is that somebody's got their eyes on the value of that field as building land, and it's difficult to move that away. So I personally will be getting more involved in this subject from now on, and all I can promise you at this moment is you can have a bigger update at our next meeting.
Let's ask the question. Atkins, are they representing the council, NCC, or?
I don't know. Must have, you know,
Because they seem to be writing as if it's.
then, yeah. So
they've,
it's
I
very
think they've
disappointing.
been heavily involved, and I think we've had a few meetings here where they've come along. In the beginning, I think when they were talking about the care home and things that were going to go in, I thought Atkins were involved in that as well.
Okay. So do you think Atkins are a likely purchaser for that rather than the consultant?
I don't know, I think they are the consultant.
Just the consultant, okay. Yeah. Sorry,
The only thing
Councillor.
I'd say is the biggest allies in this are Angle School.
Sorry?
The biggest allies with us are Angle School.
Yeah, Amble School are doing a wonderful job, you know, standing alongside us on this one. I mean, I did think at one point they could be a competitor, you know, wanting to keep land themselves, but it's not the case at all.
No.
They're very pleased with what we're doing. Yeah. And as I say, as I've read the history of the piece of land, you know, right down to the document that shows how much money was paid for it to the Smith family, and it was about the same as Victoria Hall, so it came from the same people that sold the land for Victoria Hall, and that's why I was really hoping that I was going to find this magical document, but I didn't. Anyway, I've not given up.
I thank you for your diligence.
Can I go to paragraph 3 of the letter?
Yep.
Obviously, we want to try and challenge the description they have of the field being educational purposes only, and that they've even said that the historic use has been for the community. Well, that somewhere has got to have some type of kudos within and the cause, because if it's been historically used as a community field, then there is a precedence there, I would have thought, to actually keep it as a community field.
Yeah.
I think that came out of the hearing though, the
The
result of the hearing,
Ruled against it.
ruled
Did it?
against it, yeah.
And then the other thing is, they're submitting an application to the Education Funding Agency. Can't we send at the same time a letter of asking the Education Funding Agency to actually not allow this field to be sold?
I don't know. Let me work with the group and find out what their plan is.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't go cut across them. I don't want to undermine anything they do by starting another avenue. I mean, certainly I found it was extremely cheeky in the document. You know, having used the field as a school field and therefore excluding public from the field, you know, then declaring that it couldn't be classed as a public school field because the public hadn't been using it. You know, so, you know, you know, just think that we're working technicalities against the people of the town. I think we've just got to go on principle. And the other thing I'm hoping for is that any decision on this is not made prior to the unitary authority coming into place. And so again, you know, we want to use our district councillors and our county councillors, you know, to say that it's not fair or right that NCC should be disposing of assets prior, knowing that the unitary is coming along, disposing of assets before that handover. You know, because, you know, essentially any benefit is going to the other half of the county.
Yeah, if we install it as long as possible.
Yeah.
By keeping it, momentum going will be better.
Right, proposed changes to the winter gritting. I think we have a great success here, Emma, and yourself.
Well, we shall see. Yes, I had a meeting with Richard Woodhouse and the caretaker from the school came as well. And we both, myself and the caretaker, said it would be fine. They will open the gates so the gritting lorry can use it to turn around.
Yep.
But then Mr Woodhouse did say that it wasn't just about that. He said lots of schools are in similar situations and they wouldn't be able to make a difference for us if they weren't making a difference for everybody else. But he said he would put this forward in his report and we'll have to wait to hear. So it's a little bit disappointing in the end.
Right, so we do need to keep going on that one.
Yeah.
We need to make Annabelle aware of it then.
And unfortunately he's leaving at the end of this week. Once he's written his report.
Excuse me, when you say unfortunately.
But the report will go to the councillors to decide.
Yeah.
But,
okay. So just for those that haven't read the document, essentially NCC were arguing that to grit Herne Road would require a second man in the cab because the truck has to do a three-point turn at the end. And therefore, to save money, they were not going to grit Herne Road. We argued that because that was the main pedestrian route for school children, it was not acceptable. That for cost reasons, they stopped gritting that road.
You're absolutely right.
And that a solution to the problem would be to come to agreement with the school to open the school gate so they could turn round and the school land. But that not gritting the road was not a discussion item. It was purely how they managed it. And then now has given you that update from them. So quite a disappointing update. But we've got to keep on with this issue. It's about the safety of the children that we were saying we need that road gritting for. And if they've got to grit all the school roads, it only seems right to grit all the school roads.
I know, yeah, that's what I said.
Can we make Tom Thurston aware of this exchange and ask for his support?
Yes.
Thank you, yeah, him and Annabelle.
I think the other thing you might have to do is have a chat with Philip Rose, because one of the things he intends to do is put a bus park down that road.
Yeah, but it's you know, in the 2 or 3 years before that.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that maybe he could do it beforehand.
Yeah. So at the moment there isn't a road onto his piece of land at the moment, is there?
No, well,
no.
Yeah, the road,
so anyway,
single track road goes down.
We have provided them with a solution to their problem.
Yeah.
The car park is open, you know, will be open for them. They can turn around because that's where the buses turn around. You know, so there's no excuse other than now they don't want to.
Yeah, and that was the impression I got.
Right, so the next item is to discuss the new road infrastructure problems. So, Emma, this is different from, is it different from your garages, or you've got this one as well?
Thanks. I'm not fixated on new road, but I did ask this and the next item to be put on the agenda. It is perhaps ironic that on the day that I asked for this to be on the agenda, they actually fixed the road again and reopened it after yet another period of closure. But as many councillors will be aware, that road has now been closed on a number of separate occasions, all for essentially what appears to be the same reason, i.e. that periodically a new road becomes something equivalent to Niagara Falls, because there is a water leak and it pours down the road and they end up having to close the road and fix it. And this has happened not once, not twice, but several times, although unfortunately I have not been keeping score, nor indeed have I checked exactly how many days it's been closed for over the last few years, but it will be a not insignificant amount. That is extraordinarily inconvenient to the residents of New Road, but it's actually extraordinarily inconvenient to a large part of the town as well, because that is an extremely busy road, maybe an entirely separate issue. But the fact of the matter is that that road really doesn't need to be closed. And the issue that I want to raise is simply this: why does it keep happening? You can only assume it is because somebody is engaging in some form of patch and mend rather than fixing the fundamental problem. And how long is this going to go on for? And can we perhaps put pressure, presumably it's Anglian Water that we should be putting the pressure on, to ask them what went wrong this time, what have they done to fix it, and what are they doing to ensure that this does not recur? And frankly, in the absence of a satisfactory response, I would suggest a series of freedom of information requests to establish things like how many times has it happened, over what period, how long has it been closed for, what was the reason, what is their strategy for maintenance, and so on. Because somehow we have to get this problem sorted out once and for all. That's really what I wanted to bring to council and see whether other people agree.
And there's also the issue of the pumping station at the bottom of the road, because at one point they had a whole load of lorries going backwards and forwards around there to pump stuff out, because the pumps failed down there. The road itself is pretty horrible, and it's got as many potholes as you can negotiate. Yeah, I think that's a very sensible suggestion, Councillor.
Sorry. I was just going to add, because of the problems now with the bridge and the rerouting of traffic, and once that road is closed, the buses can't get down there, and that is going to cause huge, well, it's caused obviously huge problems. So it's just adding to the whole pot of trouble.
No, it's an example of how critical that road is at the moment whilst the bridge is closed. Yeah, Councillor Stan.
Can highways help us in this?
I can speak to them, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, just in pecking order, if we go with NCC highways because they're not maintaining any highway down there, the fact it's Anglian Water that are causing the problems. They are essentially, highways need to come to some arrangement with Anglian Water, don't they?
Yep. Good point.
So if nothing else, we'll have it on the agenda for the 7th.
Yeah.
So Annabelle's asked for additional items, but if you could write a letter on behalf of the council to NCC Highways and ask them, have they now done a permanent solution, or is it a major?
Yeah.
My one is no, they haven't.
Yeah, but we'll start by asking the question. Yeah, okay. Thank you. And then the other item.
Right. Probably councillors are familiar with the set of garages that are just in front of the recreation ground, or what I might call the far end of New Road, so opposite Tyre Resource Place. Those garages were rented out for a large number of years, but in recent times the use of the garages was ceased, I think because of the general state of them. And they've all been boarded up, and they sit there, nothing happens to them. They are an eyesore. I have to say they may potentially have some dangers intrinsic in them as well. And nobody seems to be doing anything with them. That being the case, one wonders whether the owners of those garages might consider donating the garages and the land they stand on to this council, because we could then demolish them, incorporate that land within the recreation ground, and perhaps achieve something that is far more visually attractive and remove what may very well be something of a hazard as well. Now, whether or not we'll get any kind of positive response to such a request is perhaps doubtful, but on the other hand, it might have the effect of making somebody look very carefully at the fact that they're just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. And that can't be anything at all.
Presumably they're paying some sort of rates on that, business rates or
No, they,
Delivery charge.
Spire Homes gave everybody notice some time ago who were renting the garages, so there's nobody using them. And they've boarded them up, but they keep being vandalised, and then people keep getting in and...
Okay, but people still have to pay community charge or rates on empty property, don't they?
I've got
Well,
Spire
this-
Homes,
I suspect they
Spire
probably
Homes.
do.
I don't know
So
whether
it'd be in their
they're
interest.
It depends on the
So there you
total
go,
square
because-
footage, doesn't it? It depends on the total square footage.
Does it?
Yeah. Anything really, anything really under say 3,000 square feet is not going to be taxed.
Right, okay.
Well, there were 16 garages by now.
So it might be more. It might be more than
Councillor.
3,000 square feet.
Sorry, there have been issues down there with the police and with drugs, etc.
Yes, that
So
happens.
it's not a
No,
acceptable
we do need
area.
something quickly to
Yeah.
happen down there. It isn't a good sign of the town at all.
No.
So let us do a letter to Spire Homes.
Yeah.
No, it's not Spire Homes.
No.
It's Longhurst Group.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that because Spire gave it to them, or?
No, Spire and two other, I can't remember the names of the associations. There's 2 or 3, maybe even 4.
Right.
They've all gone into the Longhurst Group.
Oh, I see. Okay, so they've taken over Spire.
Mm.
Yes, right. Okay.
But they're still in Worcester, but they're now called Longhurst.
They can't be of any use to them.
Well, they possibly are.
Maybe they're sitting on it on the basis of some kind of redevelopment.
Yeah. So it's a valuable piece of either
Yeah.
domestic or
Yeah.
commercial building land.
Absolutely.
Well, they can only do social housing down there.
Yeah, where the garages are is.
Affordable.
Yeah.
Housing.
Okay, so let's ask
Yeah.
the thing that David suggests, that
Yeah.
they give us. So we'll cover the demolition costs, and then turn it round over to the park.
I'm
Or
very
you could-
careful of that because you don't know what the roofs are made of.
I think we've got a good idea what the roofs are made of.
Yes, I bet.
Yes, masks and gloves and everything.
But it's the sort of trade that we can do, though. But if only we turned it into car parking for the public park there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it would be a more sensible use of the space.
Let Big Arthur have other places to park their cars.
Okay. All right. Thank you, David. Right. Next one is to receive the clerk's report. I'll have a look at Karen's been a busy girl. Any questions from members' report? Councillor Stagg?
Karen tripped over,
Yes, that was very
which is
sad.
all right. But what caught my eye was that she's wanted to collect money to take to the bank.
Yes, from the market traders.
Right. Have we no better way than having a young lady walking around town with a bucket full of money?
No, we have assessed it. They go at different times of the day. We have to do it every day anyway, because we've got cash for the hub.
Market traders are notorious for not giving any bank transfers, B, credit cards, so it has to be cash.
I don't want to say anymore.
No, so it does come up on each quarter when we do the audit of processes. This fact that we have the people taking their cash down to the bank, and so one of the safety issues that we've got is it's like a different time of the day, and then different routes if possible,
Yeah.
different people. So I don't know
Quite
which one
often
have you got in
John-
there first.
John.
Councillor Oakes.
It's going to get worse. We lost Mount West. We've lost the let's call it the bank, the town, the former town hall, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Barclays will be looking very seriously at saying goodbye to their premises.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be.
And it's just as nightfall as day.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Councillor Chapman.
On a slightly different tack, and I don't minimise what happened to our employee, but isn't it indicative of the fact that the streets in this town are not well enough maintained? And presumably we can change that with the powers that be.
Well, we've got
Have we actually had
photographs
any
and
kind
they've
of
been sent
response
off.
from them? Because I think we should be kept updated about
Yeah.
what exactly is going to happen. Because if it happens to her, it could happen to anybody. And next time, perhaps the consequences could be more serious.
Yeah, the photos have gone off and...
Oh, you have reported it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
I think one of the points is that we have to be proactive about it, I think, and move forward on it, because as Councillor Oak says, what happens is there's nowhere to deposit the money. You know,
Somebody will have to drive somewhere with it in their
exactly.
car.
So if we come forward with a strategy, and the other question I would do, why is Karen on her own? You know, surely it would be a two-person job to take money
No,
to a
no,
bank.
no. It's not huge amounts. It isn't hundreds and hundreds.
Right.
And I mean, basically what she does is she walks down, banks the hub money, then goes and collects the market traders' money, then walks back and banks that.
It's just, it's just something I think we should be.
But I mean, the issue wasn't she tripped over.
Yeah,
that was
no,
the
I mean,
issue.
I think
Yeah.
the whole thing will need looking at again. I mean, probably better for us to look at it before it changes.
Yeah, we have looked at it. We've
Yeah.
looked at various different ways.
Just one moment, just Councillor Oakes has got
I'm
something.
only going to say, at the moment, the only saviour is the post office.
Yes, the post office will continue. Yep,
Very well.
and so Councillor Sparks.
Have we mentioned this to our insurers or brokers, WBS?
No, I've mentioned it to our HR consultant, and we've filled out an accident form.
Yeah, but, I'm just thinking perhaps our insurers also need to know, because if there had been an issue over any kind of claim, either for an injury at work or a problem over carrying money, the insurers, if these things go unreported...
They are aware that we carry money. They are aware that we
Yes,
pay
oh yes, they're
back.
aware we carry money, oh yes.
Yeah.
So that's
But,
the only issue at the minute is one of our employees tripped. The fact she carrying money is irrelevant to the fact she tripped.
not to them, because it would be a liability.
No,
for
but
them.
she carries money every day. The liability is there every day.
Yes, I
You
know.
the trip is the only issue that we have on the table.
But if at some future time we make a claim saying we've lost money because we've been robbed while carrying money, they may turn around and say, but you didn't report earlier instances.
No, they know we carry money and we're insured for carrying
Yeah, I
money.
know they know
Yeah.
we carry money, but they need to be informed of this particular instance, I think.
Okay. I don't believe they do because it's not an attempt of robbery. It is purely somebody's tripped. Sorry, is it... Sue?
No,
You're
I
all
was
right.
just going to say to you, just to, working in the bank, the post office are going to be providing more and more facilities
Yes,
for all the major banks.
they are. Yeah, so they carry. Right, Councillor Field.
Surely we should be insisting that the NCC repair the paths.
Well, that's Emma's point. Yes, so that's why we've reported
I
it.
think it's previously been reported.
So we should actually be able to press them, shouldn't we?
Okay, so anything else from Emma's report? No, fine. So now we've got attendance to the Calc AGM. It's important that we go there at this sensitive time. 5th of October just tends to be an awkward day for me. So is there anybody else that would be free to go on the 5th of October? Yeah, okay, it's a Saturday, but you've 7-day-a-week school. Yeah.
So we know what day it is. It's
5th of October.
It's a
I
Saturday.
I'll go.
Yeah,
I always go.
it'd be good if one of us was there with you. Could you do that? Thank you. Oh,
I
right.
would go if nobody else is interested.
Right, so,
Don't be around that
Twinings, would you like to go for the experience? Yeah. Yes, okay. Councillor Sterry, yes. You've done it before, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested, as is probably my wife, but unfortunately we'll be on holiday because I've got a...
Sorry, the only month
A
for
big
holidays in
birthday
this town
in
council is
August.
August. Okay, and so we've got Councillor Sterry. Terry, thanks for doing that. I'm in a race the following day, and I'm not...
Does that mean we don't have to come on the 7th of August?
Why? Because I'm in a race the following day.
No, you just said that holidays were in August.
Unless you're a member of the planning commission.
Right, to receive a folder of documents. This was a mystery.
I put this on my class report and I thought lots of people would say, oh my gosh, I'll have a look at that, and nobody said anything.
No,
So I wondered whether anybody had read my report or not. But I've actually put it on the agenda and the folder's over there. It's quite interesting because it goes back to documents from 1945. So And there is a picture of somebody in the outdoor swimming pool.
I didn't know we've got
Well,
In
yeah,
1965.
swimming pool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. The old concrete thing.
So we've got it now,
Yeah.
and if anybody wants to have a look at it, it's quite interesting.
Sandal schools,
That'd be me then.
The next one, when we authorise the consent for tree works in the vicinity of the high voltage lines by the cemetery. I look at the pictures, they look quite frightening. I'm glad they're doing it, not me. The one question, Emma, are they paying for it?
Oh yeah, they do it
No,
all.
it's just an interesting little conversation because essentially the trees are on our land, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. So, any problems with this, or can we just get on with it?
we've got no reason to object whatsoever.
Okay. Right, down to tricky bits. Bank reconciliation. So we've been through all this in the finance meeting, haven't we? So it's only a continuation of the acceptance we've already given it. So we've got three items there, have we? The bank reconciliation, the monthly bank balances, and the NatWest current account. So is any issues in that package? If not, then when we approve them, do we have to take a vote on that? Okay then. So any conversation or otherwise conversation or?
No, I'll propose it.
Okay, no. Second it. Right, all those in favour?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unanimous. Thank you. And then the payments for 2019, for July, for a whole year, yeah. Any problems in that one?
Not a lot this month.
No. Okay, do we have a proposer? Yes, the councillor Stack and seconded by councillor Peel. All those in favour? That's fine. Thank you.
I didn't realise that cycle mats could be nearly 10 grand.
Yeah, but this is money that we've been given,
Yeah.
and we'll lose if we don't spend it quickly.
That's fine, that's fine. I'm just saying,
So
there seemed a lot of money from somebody.
well, if you work it out, you know, the answer's in the question. We've got £10,000 to spend by this date.
Yeah, get
How
on
much
with
of the
it.
cycle rate?
Yes,
£10,000.
get on with it. Get on with it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right, the clock, I didn't realise it was on the list. So the expenditure was 1,247. This gets the clock ticking again, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but is this the first, it's not the first time we've had to repair the clock, is it?
No, we had, if you remember, well, I think it was when I first came here, there was a quote for repairing them, but then we found out the building was being sold, so we decided that we wouldn't do anything until it was sold. So there was a big delay.
That's what was where the Norwich people went.
Yeah.
Remember it well.
But is that our responsibility as a first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, everybody happy with the proposal then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't think we got a choice.
Okay. So, do we need a vote
Yeah.
on that one? Right, so we've got a proposer. I'll propose it.
I'll second it.
Then councillor S.O. second it, and all those in favour? Right, we've got a clock ticking again.
Yeah,
And the next one is about keeping it ticking, isn't it? So it was £243 or 729.
Which I know is
Oh.
the 243 feature, but it just prevents, I think there's a
Inflation.
chance that it could go up in inflation.
Well, I would just ask them if we're going to pay 3 years up front, we should get some discount.
Well, I think the point is it's just inflation proof in it. So if you do the 243.
2.5%.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a question of what, you know, do we trust them enough to give them the money up front, or should we hold it back? That's the only thing going through my mind. If they went bust, and you
Oh,
paid
yeah.
them 7 up.
Well, I don't know whether you, yeah, that's the point. I was thinking that we just, no, it's okay. Forget what I was just going to say.
So my tendency is, if there's any doubt
Yeah,
about the
I know.
longevity, I'd just go for the shorter payment. Yeah, and especially on Peter's point of view, they're not giving us a big discount.
Not giving us any discount,
No.
No,
Yeah,
no.
okay.
Well,
Okay,
1 year,
so
just
that's proposed by councillor Stack, we'll pay for the 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seconded by councillor Wayne Oakes, and all those in favour?
Yeah.
One other thing on that. This actually won't be till next year now, will it? Because they'll have served it this year. And we'll have
Well,
paid
yeah, yeah.
the £1,247.
Right, the quote for Christmas lights, I know this has been through the committees a little bit, and I think rather than talk about colours and bulbs and so on, it's just an acceptance
Yeah.
that to put a quality light show up each year, this is the sort of money that we need. And the embarrassment of what we've been through last Christmas with lights going out and so on, I feel we either accept it or go back into that. It's a waste of money paying less, is what I'm trying to say. So, discussion.
Can we just, one thing that last year that I think all of us noticed is that not all the lights, especially around the back of stew pots and near the church, were actually ever put on.
No.
This is a whole different scheme.
It's a new scheme now,
Yeah.
so hopefully those will be put on and maintained rather than just left.
Yeah, we'll have a new scheme.
Oh, that's
Change your contractors.
Yeah.
So
What about our Christmas lights? What actually are they being used or not?
We've got some that may be used, yeah.
Yeah. So the chosen contractor will use the bits that are in keeping with the rest of it and are in good quality. Councillor Lennon.
I think one of the important things is we'd like to make sure that the business association and the businesses in Handel understand how much this is costing and what they get from it. Because they never ever contributed.
No. Please, for the record, the Business Association gave us a tremendous contribution last Christmas.
How much was that?
Councillor Peel, how much did you collect from
Well, they collected over £1,000.
It was over £1,000.
Yeah, I know, but they didn't do it. I think you did it.
Well, no, but the Business Association
gave the money.
Well, they did it, but I'm trying to
so
make
we
the point
appreciate
is
what they did.
we had to put the effort in to say, come on, cough up a bit.
And they did,
Yeah.
Failures.
Sorry, Councillor Clark.
I think the clerk can confirm the contractors we've suggested have been very highly recommended by
Yeah, that's a £60 million. They also do.
They've got a really good reputation.
Yeah, and he's already been in, and he's already done a walk round and checked everything.
They've got their own fleet
So,
vehicles,
yeah.
etc., etc.
And it's cheaper than last year.
Just a quick one for Councillor Peel. The tree.
Yes.
We've got it every year, haven't we? Jog my memory.
Yeah, all I have to do is go up and say, we need a tree, can we have that one please?
Yeah, brilliant. I thought that was the case, but I'm just reminding
It's
myself.
true, we worked very hard on all of that. Well, you did on the tree, but the lights, etc.
They promised that they'd have a tree every year. And they deliver it and take it down as they did last year.
I've got some pictures if anybody wants to have a look at the style that we're going to be having. Anybody wants to see if I've got pictures to show?
One of those up for the discussion, but that's what the money gets.
That's just part of it. I thought I'd got a few more, but I haven't actually.
There's nothing that looks like a cornetto.
we might be incorporating some of our other.
I think we were quite strong on cornetto.
But
just one cornetto?
the tree isn't going to look like a gherkin this year.
It did look like a gherkin last year though.
Yeah, the way they did it first.
Oh yeah.
Emma, the only thing I might add to the very sort of single line that you've got here, we've got a 3-year contract. Could we get somewhere a performance clause in that contract? If the performance in the first year is unsatisfactory.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know how you describe
Right,
performance.
okay.
But what I wouldn't like to do is they do a bad job for us in year
And we're
one.
stuck in it.
You have to keep on going back to the people doing a bad job. Yeah. Okay, so with that discussion, are we happy to propose this?
I'll propose it coming from Blackpool.
All right then. Councillor Esso proposed it. Councillor Clark has seconded. All those in favour? That's lovely. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry, before we go on to the next item.
Yes.
We go back to the clock. It also says on there which budget the funds will be taken from.
All right, yes.
Oh yes, yeah, well done, yeah, because we've only got £250 in the budget for the town clocks for this year. I mean, I think you're just going to have to take out general reserves, but yeah, just to approve that that's where you're going to be taking
So just on that then, are we all happy to take it out of general reserves?
Yes.
Yeah.
And well, nicely, I think we should limit that
Oh, no, close,
No,
We have to
It's
minute
not
You're
that.
not happy?
No, I know,
Where would
but-
you like to take them from?
I'd like to take it from the clock. We've got £250 in, so that when we come to look next year, we see that we've under budgeted.
Oh, it'll be in that, you'll see it, but we physically got to say that we're going to take, because you shouldn't go over budget. You
Yeah, so
shouldn't
the,
go over
the
budget
clock,
as a
the line in
council.
our
So
accounts,
you
the
have
clock
to,
will show
yeah,
an overspend.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
This is a good point, though. Thank you. Do we need to propose that, or just
Well,
add it onto
do
the
you
previous one?
mind using the proposed and seconded for the clock money? And
Yeah,
then
quite happy
the
to
same
just
people,
attach
is
that
that
statement
okay?
to what we've already
It's just,
voted
you
on.
do just need to actually make a note, a physical note, that you realise you've got to draw that money from somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Right, cemetery mapping then. For those of you not aware of what this was about, it was, if you have a look in the office there, we have a paper board being the only official record of what's happening in the cemetery. So this was bringing us to a much safer environment. So it's been discussed in the facilities and estates. It's really, you just approved in this meeting to spend the money. If anybody needs any more information?
Happy to propose it.
Sorry?
Happy to propose it. I've
Yeah,
been
happy
on
to-
about the cemetery
Okay.
stuff
So
for
proposal-
years and said, you know, watch out, watch out.
Yeah.
We're going to be starting to bury people upright instead of, you know, horizontal.
Right.
Because we were running out of cemetery space, not at an alarming rate, and not so they are in London.
It was really the comical situation where we had to go down there and physically check the piece of land.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we're happy to
I'm happy
proposal
with
through
that. I'm happy with that. I'll propose it.
Seconded from Councillor Clark. All those in favour? That's wonderful. Thank you. To approve the items to be purchased funding 3,000 from the Pathfinder project.
I think I sent a list out.
Yes, you have.
Have we got an actual budget item for this?
Sorry?
Have we got a budget item?
This is a grant that we're getting from the Pathfinder Flood Project.
Okay, so we don't actually, doesn't
Yeah,
cost us anything.
no. And I circulated an email that David sent because he's unable to be here. He'd put the majority of the items down in the budget, but then we'd also got some money left, so we were able to use some more of this mapping to map the flood areas as well.
Clever. Yeah, okay. And, sorry, Councillor Saint.
Who does this belong to, and who's going to be responsible for replacing stuff that there's lots, seems to me, lots of small
Well,
items here?
it'll be held here. It'll be the, I mean, ultimately the flood wardens, but David is a councillor. He is our councillor flood warden, so it will be the council's equipment.
Okay.
So just associated with that question then, in my own mind, was where we were going to keep it. And particularly we've got radio equipment in there.
Mhm.
You know, it would be useless if they get to the radio equipment and all the batteries are flat in it.
Yeah.
You know, so we, by all means, we go ahead with this, I think, but we do need to think about
I'll speak to David and see if he's
where we're going
willing
keep it.
to, you know, make sure that
Because
it's...
it needs to be kept in a cupboard that's accessible from outside of the building, doesn't it? Because you can't have people routing around for keys to get in here. So, okay, that's a problem for tomorrow. You got another question, sir? No, okay, right. So with that, and you know, now I understand that it's coming from external money, then I'm quite happy to propose it. So seconder. Councillor Chapel has seconded, and all those in favour? You say, well done, David, he didn't even come here and he got the money through. Right, we received the minutes from the Finances and General Purpose Committee. We seem to have gone through the whole agenda here, so... Unless there are any items and anybody's noticed on that one that we haven't already covered. No proposal?
No,
we're just reviewing it, aren't we?
To agree to process regular payments in August.
I know.
For retrospective approval at the September full council meeting, it was agreed this request be
I
deferred
know,
to
and
the
I
next
forgot.
full
And then
council meeting, which is tonight.
I was also going to mention it. You know, when we've got the list of payments, I was going to mention it then to say I'd forgotten, but then I forgot that as well. So I think we'll just have a meeting. I'll just put a
Have a
meeting.
meeting
Yeah.
in August.
Hope it's quiet.
Okay then, so I'm happy to propose those minutes and you go second.
We're just receiving.
Receiving.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're just receiving
Yes,
them. All right, okay.
it'll be the next meeting for approval.
For the year out, I'll get the hang of this stuff. So I wrote the first two words, say to receive, right? The update on the neighbourhood plan, right? We've got members of the public in here for this one.
Okay, right. If we start from the fact that Michael Boyerton has sent us a letter saying that the neighbourhood plan is progressing and is going to examination, that's probably the easiest one to deal
Well, I
with
think
straight
his
away.
last paragraph in that, if you read that, he said this meets the requirements, doesn't it?
Exactly. So we don't have any problems with it going to examination. We then had a meeting, as you know, with the planners from ENC, and they sent us one or two things that they were not quite happy with within the plan. Most of them were just word and slight spelling mistakes. The only real things they could say were they brought up the fact that the density, and I've got it here somewhere, bear with me, because I've sort of written it all written on this, so I know it's here somewhere. There we are. The only real things that they could complain about, which they couldn't actually complain about, was in policy 015, the deliverability of selected sites. Well, what that basically meant is that they didn't really have any information of the sites that we selected. However, having spoken to the developers of these sites, they now have information from all the sites. They're in discussion, I know, with the Benfield Road site, and Philip Road has gone to a pre-app, so has David Wilson, and Millersfield and the smaller development on Wakefield Close. ENC classes windfall sites anyway, so there's no real need for us to actually discuss or go through those. So that solved that problem. But then they did go on about Cotterstock Road and St Christopher's Drive, subject to numerous technical studies, assessments, etc. This has all been done in the essays. It is all there. They just were blowing wind. I won't say where from, but there was really nothing the ENC could actually complain about as such, and we are going to be sending them a letter confirming that this is really no sort of problems at all on that, and that the land south of Herne Road was not being actively promoted through the local plan. Well, we know that because they didn't want the Herne Road development. So it's in our plan, it's not in their plan, and they objected to the fact that it was in our plan and not in their plan. Well, that's not our problem, is it? Then they've got the deliverability, and again, that's all been discussed and now sorted, so there shouldn't be any problems with that. The strategic policy, again, you see, the local plan is actually not anywhere near completed and is nowhere near having been accepted by the ENC. So until that has actually happened, the policy number 015 again, which we're still on, doesn't really make any difference to the neighbourhood plan because there is no local plan at this moment in time. It has not been accepted by ENC. So if there's no local plan, how can they say that we can be objected by it because of that? And again, it's the same with, obviously, the Glapthorne. They mentioned Glapthorne neighbourhood plan. The examiner concluded that the draft neighbourhood plan was seeking to undermine the RNOTP. It wasn't. The point is that Cotterstock Road, most of it is not in Oundle. So therefore, we cannot make or do anything to do with projects outside our boundary. So again, it's not in our plan, but because the local plan has still not been even in draft form at this present time, they really are just kicking things in the wind because they haven't found any real objections in our neighbourhood plan. We have covered almost everything. Density, again, they brought up the density problem, and again, I wrote to both Biggin Hill Estates and Mike Scott, and to Philip Rose, just to check the density on the two main sites, because they've already agreed to the density situation with the David Wilson home, so they can't complain of that. And again, the Bennefield Road, the Millersfield site and the Wakefield Close site being Winfield sites are not anything to worry about, because we don't have to worry about the Winfield sites. And both sites have come back to me. The Bennefield Road site, they've got a minimum of 30 houses per hectare, and on the Herne Road it's 35. So again, we're well over what the minimum requirements are within the strategic documents that there's available. So that's sorted. If we go on, they then sort of put a little table in here about Millersfield and Wakeley Close. I don't understand why, because they've already told us they're Winfield, so we don't have any problems with those. And the other sites we've now sorted out. Some of the proposals they've said, and I would go back to where is it? I've got it here somewhere. All the density and proposed amounts we've already agreed to, so there shouldn't be any problem with that at all. They've again gone on to a density of 35 houses, but that of course is not in the core strategic strategies, only 30 houses. So they've overdone that, because again they're trying to find ways that the neighbourhood plan doesn't work. Well, it does. So there shouldn't be anything there. Policy 018, there's nothing there at all to worry about. It's just, really, it's garbage. What it is, I'm sorry. Millersfield, Winfield site, land south of Wakeley Coast, again, it's a Winfield site, so no problems with that. They're just making comments about things.
Observations. Yeah.
Sorry?
They're making observations.
They're making observations that really don't need to be made. And then, sorry, I can't read my own writing now. And then the last paragraph on the last page, the neighbourhood proposes a mixed-use development releasing part of the land of residential development with further land set aside for a festival field. That belongs to Bennefield Road. They have got the map wrong on that, which we're now changing. But apart from that, again, it's just, if you like, sour grapes on the part of ENC, because they are so far behind with their local plan. They were just nitpicking.
Yeah.
The overall plan is sound and safe. The SAs have proven that. They are, without doubt, I would say, the thing that upset ENC more than anything was the quality of what we actually sent them. They really didn't expect to have that sort of detail and quality and outline sent to them by Oundle. They were, you know, and I think really what's happened is that they're now worried, because they know that the neighbourhood plan, if set on course, and there are minor adjustments which we are making, and the letter is going to go out to ENC about that, we've already said that, then they're worried that they know that the neighbourhood plan will be in force and through referendum long before their local plan even gets to public consultation. And that's what they're scared, they're running scared of. They know what they've done has been
so now
very badly done.
Yeah, we need to respond to that document. Is
We
that
need to
document
respond
now
to
in the
that.
public domain?
Yes, it is, yeah.
No, we're just checking with Emma. Is it?
I've had it sent to me directly. I haven't checked to see if it is actually on their website.
But can we put it on our website?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why.
So if we put it on our website, and knowing that consultation of Regulation 16 is now about to open,
Exactly.
then we can put for our developers, can respond to that document.
Yeah, that's no problem at all.
So each of them can respond to the section that refers to themselves. I believe also that we as the town council should respond to it.
Well, we've got to send a letter back to ENC with the corrections that they've noted, the words and the little misspelling and things like that, and also in regard to density. We have to send a letter back in regard to
so
that.
we need to do that.
That has to be forwarded so it can go to the examiner with all the paperwork. So that has to be done.
Ensure that any correspondence we do gets in front of the examiner.
Oh, yes.
Therefore, if it's in response to the consultation period, then the examiner will get it. Nobody can stop him.
Well, I think, you see, the reason I've at the moment not bothered to call a meeting of the working party is because I know that we've got a meeting on the 19th, and I thought we could discuss it there and deal with the letter there and then. Because then we can send it off with the details that we've got.
Okay, so we've got a lot in that document, though. We do
need
to go line by line.
It's just most of it is sour grapes, to be honest.
So, Councillor Stank.
No, I just wanted to clarify that that's what we're going to do.
Yes, we are going to respond formally with a letter.
We've also had
and the
response
corrections
from the consultants as well.
Yes, we have. So we've had
I'm going on to that now. I haven't gone.
All right.
I've gone through that first.
Yeah.
Right. Now we have had now again from the. Hold on, let's get rid of that part. We've done that part. We've had from Mick Griffin emails in regard to the comments on the ENC, and he basically follows almost exactly what I've said. That he recommends a response he's made, obviously, for the issues that are raised in the ENC letter. So that must be done. But basically, he's saying that the settlement bound review. There is a word there, but of course some of the boundary reviews need to be done on St Christopher's Drive, but we haven't got those yet, so we can do that at the same time. The essays all there, they're on all the sites. We have actually gone out on the essays and actually dealt with all the sites, including the sites that weren't in our plan. So everything is there, and it all goes down to, I think, for instance, if you look at the essays and the way they've been done in the original documents that we sent off, you'll see that, for instance, Herne Road and St Christopher's Drive, there is one point between the two of them. I mean, literally, it was that close. The reason that the council went for Herne Road and not St Christopher's Drive was, quite frankly, we're getting a cricket pitch out of it. So it's a real benefit. And when you look at what Persimmon had said, the local plan had said, Persimmon were going to give us money for the upkeep of the cemetery. You will note from the notes we had on the 9th of July with the meeting we had with the ENC, it was clearly stated, in fact I stated it, because I got the figures from Paul to say that we actually don't need money from for the upkeep of the cemetery. The cemetery actually makes a profit all the time. So why do we need money from Cadman's and Persimmon for the upkeep of the cemetery? It was. So they've got to take that out of the local plan. So these are all these things that they've got to sort out in their local plan. So they hadn't actually done anything until that
Peter,
date.
we can use Nick's letter then.
Oh yeah, it's all there. Nick's letter's there. We've got two letters from him. He's followed up with one or two other things as well. And I've got.
Let me talk through that, and I'll draft a reply.
It's all there. It's not a problem.
Okay.
But I think, as I say, I think what we've got to do really is just shrug our shoulders and say that the ENC are just worried about the...
No, okay, but we must take it extremely seriously in terms of the quality of our response.
We have to. Oh yeah, no, there's no problem. No, I'm not saying we shouldn't. We've got to do it.
Response from the consultant.
Did you?
That's the only one I
right, I got a preview before that.
Yeah. I
That's
think
Okay,
that
so it's the same.
Yeah.
This is
Gerard sent me a preview as well,
Yeah,
which
so
was only saying
There's only
exactly.
one official
Yeah,
response
that's
on it.
fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay then. Well, thank
Is
you.
that
Peter.
okay?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Peter. Right, the notes from the meeting that we had with the NC then, which I've
they've been,
yeah, so everybody's seen.
I've actually
seen
gone
that.
through that as well.
Yeah. Okay, so we've just said it was a bit disappointing. Right. And then representations to speak at the Planning Policy Committee meeting. Well, certainly I would like to speak on behalf of Amble Town Council at that. And Emma, in terms of, do we have to notify them?
yeah,
No, I can't speak as part of Arundel Town Council if you speak as Arundel.
Yeah, so I need to talk as Amble Town Council. If you want to talk as a resident,
I can talk as a resident
Yes.
of Arundel, can't I?
you can.
So I would take that opportunity for 3 minutes to do that as
Yeah,
well.
okay then. So that meeting is open for everybody, but they need to register with, ENC to talk.
yeah, so you'll be talking, and,
I'll be talking as a resident
okay, right.
Yeah.
because I can't do this as a councillor. Unless you can do this as the mayor and I can do this as a councillor.
I don't know.
No, I don't,
I don't think
wouldn't have
so. I
thought
think,
you
I
could,
think it will
no.
be
Right.
one from the council. And similar to our developers, you know, it would be good news for the developers to be there and take their 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can ask Julian. Are you going to be there on the 29th?
We haven't decided. I was listening to how far you've gone
Yeah.
here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I can't see if there's been a change in flavour in the approach from East North Hants. Do you get the feeling that they've?
No, they haven't changed at all.
They have not changed one iota.
No. So, yeah, representations at that meeting then, say I will be there and I'll draft something and circulate it to you guys before the event.
Okay.
We can't do anything about that until the 19th anyway, can we? Because we're meeting with Jake and he's going to have the paperwork
Yes,
for that meeting on the 29th.
I'm not sure if I can book you in until the papers are published, but
Oh, okay.
But
Right, okay.
I'll try anyway. Yeah.
Better to go in early. And
That's what I was
come
thinking,
back.
yeah, I'd sooner get you in and
Councillor
not get
Oates,
I'm
in.
just wondering whether the chair of our planning committee has got the space in his diary.
But that again would make it as a second
Yeah, that might be the problem.
OTC speaker, which might be a problem.
No, but-
I can't even say I'm a resident of Arundel.
No, but you could say that you're a councillor on Blackthorn.
You could go and speak on behalf of Blackthorn because they want to build houses in your parish.
Oh, cracker!
I have a meeting at Blackthorn Parish Council in 2 nights' time.
But I wouldn't mind going as well.
No, it is certainly the more the
Well,
merrier.
more people
I'm,
are sitting.
I'm happy to do that. I mean, I've been up at Webster on a number of occasions.
All right. And the, you know, as I say in my report again, that the consultation period is open. Arundel Town Council are not allowed to recommend to the town, you know, what to say or how to view our neighbourhood plan. Now, we haven't got time to check, you know, the logic behind that statement. However, we can publicise that consultation is open.
Let's ask communications warrants. We've got an advertiser deadline coming up Thursday.
Right. Yep.
And I've just put a paragraph in the proposed text I'll send around to the
Please.
communications group, just mentioning that it's on the East North Hants website
Yes.
and that people need to respond for the 27th of August.
Yes.
And that OTC will be represented at the Planning Policy Committee on the 29th of July.
Yes.
So it's just
Yeah.
bare facts, nothing else.
I think it's just important on this representation for them to understand what it is they're replying to this time.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever they say in this consultation period goes in front of the examiner. The ENC have to pass these comments on to the examiner.
Should we spell that out, or it's
I think so. I think so. There's no harm in doing that. We're not doing anything wrong. It's telling people that this is, you know, what the examiner will definitely see. Okay then. Right. So we, as I likened it to many other people, it was a bit like landing the beach, the troops on the beaches in Normandy. We've still got 11 months to Berlin, so carry on. There's a lot of fighting.
Please
to
don't
carry
say
on.
things like that.
Right, planning matters.
It does.
As if we haven't.
minutes are here, they are only for receiving. The only comment I would make is that this is the only meeting I can ever recall where we've only had a single planning application to consider. It just happened that it turned out to be quite a controversial one. It took us quite a bit of time, but it was odd that there was literally only the one. Unless anybody has any questions.
Those are received then. Estates Management Committee, to receive the minutes of the Estates Management Committee.
I wasn't there for that one. He was.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything other than that. Okay, so those are received then. Correspondence for information only. We received the newsletter from the ENC regarding their first meeting. I couldn't find this. I must admit, I went in the pack and I couldn't find it.
What was it you were looking for?
The ENC regarding the first meeting in the oh, you found it, right. Okay, I'll look at it.
I didn't live by the cards.
No, that was, it was in the pack.
It's one on the ENC newsrooms.
Oh, right, okay, so I'll go in there to read it. To receive the museum summer newsletter, 2 pages back that I've read, pictures of cars in it. Good. Receive the June employment law update. I went to sleep after that one. Yeah. And to receive the letter from Beth Miller, Labour Party's prospective candidate for the Corbyn East Northamptonshire. So I did read this one. She seems to be asking for a lot of information, and I'm not quite sure that we can easily provide that information.
I think he's just throw it away and forget she actually sent me a letter.
Well, I think we need a polite response. We need every friend we can get in this issue. You know, she's
not with a party, not with a party that's saying.
But no, you know, just take her like ourselves. You know, she's an individual. You know, she works extremely hard in what she does. So you know, it's a polite response to her that we haven't really got the information that requires at hand, but we do appreciate her support on this issue, and yeah, she might want to come along to the next JAG meeting.
Yeah.
She does. When you, I'll give you my apologies now.
You don't go to
You
JAG
don't go.
meetings.
Oh no, I don't.
No, it's very important, you know, irrespective of political views. That when
No,
we
it's
see
nothing to do
people
with
that-
politics. It's to do with what's happening within the Labour Party
So that's
and the
politics.
anti-Jewish
But we've got
rhetoric
somebody
that
here
they have.
who wants to lobby, you know, for a cause that we believe in ourselves very much. That the policing, you know, is letting the side down at the moment. For no fault of the police, it's not their fault. It is the ridiculous resourcing that they've been given. Okay. So, any other matters for report only? Emma?
Yeah, can I just mention one thing?
Of course.
I don't know if you remember, at the planning meeting that we attended, Philip Rose came. He did mention the fact that he has 20 acres of land which he doesn't know what to do with. Nobody actually I don't think anybody really sort of took that in. But I know Terry has, because we talked about it earlier, and I have. And I was wondering if any of you could think about what a 20-acre site would do. It's not profit making. It's just literally there to be used for some sort of something to benefit Arundel. Terry thought about more football pitches. I thought about getting the primary schools to plant trees every year, you know, different. So in other words, a 5-year-old 1 year, 5-year-old the next year could see how that tree had grown, and then so forth and so on, or 6-year-old, whatever.
Where is this land?
It's, do you know where Herne Road is? I've got a map.
It's alongside the river, isn't it?
Yeah, it's alongside the river.
It's
It's
a
between
riverbank
where the
side.
riverside.
It's
It's just space.
Floodplain.
It's from Herne Road.
There's not a lot you can do with it. It's just that obviously something like trees could actually help it dry out a little bit.
It's between Herne Road
Who would be responsible for the trees?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Who would be responsible for the trees?
Nobody. It'd be just, it'd be Richard, it'd still be Philip Rose's land.
Oh, I
But
see.
he just
Well,
wants.
he'd be responsible for
Yeah,
the
he
trees.
would be the one
Yeah,
responsible.
he's not selling it, he's just
No, he just wants to do something.
Well, I'm going to say that I put my hand up. After all, my name is Oaks.
Oh, trees, okay.
I think
Maybe for a future
Hampshire
agenda.
School Acorns.
Yeah, I think for a future agenda, we need to be extremely cautious with it though, because
What I'm saying is we can give suggestions to him, and then he will take them.
no, I think it's almost treated like a piece of public land at the moment.
It's here, look.
People go on around it. Yeah.
And those
So
are the
certain
little
councillors might object to
Yes,
trees going on it.
well, yeah. But you see,
Well,
obviously,
then,
that would actually help her, because then there'd be no
Thank you.
buildings there.
Just carrying on around the table, is there anybody else?
Sorry.
There's just something that came up and caught my eye. I was watching the telly the other day, which I do occasionally, and there was a programme on Channel 4, I think, called about the River of Light, which was lighting of all the bridges on the Thames. And that is being funded by the Rothschild Fund, to the tune of 45 million, by Hannah Rothschild, who was also the National Gallery chair. And I thought, because of the family and the connection with our bridge, would it be worth, I don't know, just I'm opening this up for anyone thinking yay or nay or stupid idea, but that it might be worth an approach to the Rothschild Fund to say, well, your family has a bridge, or half a bridge, on the Ashton estate, which is your family, one of your families, part of the family's fortune. Almost like a sort of begging letter, you know, come on, cough up some money. If you've got £45 million in the Thames, how about putting some money towards making our bridge even better turning it into a, you know, something special rather than.
Are you referring to the Riverside Hotel by any chance?
Well, anything.
Dr. Lane is a Rothschild.
Yeah.
Dr. Lane's a Rothschild, and if they can bring that kind of money here, there, and everywhere, they can certainly do things to the Butterfly Museum, which is in Ashton, and they can certainly do something to make the interest to our town.
So I don't know how we proceed with that.
I don't know how, but there's an idea out there. Is it because they're very open?
Yeah.
Maybe
and
an
if you
agenda
go on their
item for
website,
another.
if you go on the Rothschild Trust Fund website, they are very open to.
Well, it almost feels like we want something joint with Ashton on that subject.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it would be lovely for the two parishes to do something together.
Would it be worth sending something from us to?
I think the best thing to do, because this is any other business, is put it on the next agenda so that we can formally decide what we do.
But
I mean,
maybe,
Diane Watson has been out to the Channel Islands to go and see Dr. Lane. She's the clerk at
She isn't anymore.
Ashton.
She isn't anymore. They've got a new clerk.
Oh, right, I know, but she went when she was the clerk, let's put it like that. Well, I didn't go anywhere. We really have to do something.
I don't know what relationship Miriam is with Hannah and all that rest of it. I don't know what aunt.
No, okay.
She was, but
so we'll put down as an item for the next meeting.
I thought it might be worth just chucking.
No, I agree.
Information.
I couldn't agree more.
Get a big letter
but-
out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry?
I think it's.
I'm not sure whether the bridge, I'm not sure,
Not
because
really
you see,
part
it's
of
not
it.
really estate, it's not really any of our estate.
Clive, is
Yeah,
it
no,
possible?
but it's also, nor are any of the Thames bridges. That's what I'm saying. It's as a.
No, we were just saying about what agenda.
I've just saying.
So-
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, I think we could, well, I don't know.
Clive, is it possible to just jot down some of your thoughts that we can send it to Ashton before the next meeting?
Yeah.
So we get it on the agenda of the next meeting, but if Ashton come here as well, we can talk through the issue a little bit more. Yeah, thank you.
I think that's a good idea, but the point is, everybody thinks it's in Handel.
Yeah,
Who
and that's
doesn't
what
know better.
I just love the idea of something.
I
like
don't,
between us,
I'm
and
happy
then-
with
Okay,
that.
right.
That's for a new boundary next year.
There's nothing else I can.
We've already done that. No, there's nothing there. Hang
Spin
on a
the
minute.
gavel.
Whoa, stop. You should have hit the gavel. We've received this letter from Persimmon about the Meadow View landscaping. Residents have complained about it, and I have a letter that's come back from Persimmon, and it needs a reply. And now, do want to run this through council. What I'm thinking of is I'll just knock something up, bung it round, and see if anybody, you know, wants to modify it or reject it.
I think it might be better if it came from the residents.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather
From the
than,
residents?
yeah, rather than bring the council into it, because you can process it much quicker. You know, that you can get a reply in there.
No, I'm not
Well,
sure.
they haven't written to the council, have they, for an input?
They have. It's owned on town council. Fletton knows Fletton Way. There we go.
But that was done on behalf of residents.
But the point is, it was written to us.
I didn't see it.
Oh.
So,
I've never seen
Show it to David.
Well, it seems to me, I mean, it was raised at a planning committee meeting. Can I suggest that we put that item of correspondence on a planning agenda?
Okay.
Planning can talk about it, and planning ought to bring it to full council, we'll bring it up to
All
council.
I want to say is I just don't want to sit here like a dump truck.
No.
I want to say, look, hang on a minute, this is rubbish. And it is.
Yeah. So just in terms of timing, is there a timescale that they want responses?
Well, no, it's not for me. No, it's not for me. This was came in on the 28th of June from Ben Purdy, who's the head of technical people, and he's.
Okay.
But if it's addressed to the town council, the town council acknowledge it and simply say
yeah. I'll see if I can.
it will go on, it will be debated
I've not seen it.
a parish council meeting.
Yes.
I'm happy. I'll pass it over.
Okay.
But the point is, you see, we know about it, and we know what the residents are saying.
Yeah.
And they've basically gone incredibly defensive. Oh no, we've done the right thing. It was in this planning thing. No, it wasn't. Why not?
So it comes into planning.
It is a planning matter, really, I think.
Can I ask one question? Have they cleaned out the dog bins now?
Yes.
Yes.
I've been on the case.
Any other business going on? Good on the agenda.
That's
Okay then, with that then, for information only, we've got
No, that's fine.
Thank you,
No, but
okay.
you know, I just, you know, need. I mean, there are a lot of people involved in this, in the estate around where we live.
Yeah. If you nod your head, I'll miss it.